This your man, Darrell Miller.
What's up? I'm Maria Lizz.
Yo, this is Show Me Your Geek, and this is the pilot episode. So sit back and relax, because we're going to introduce ourselves and our journey to being geeks.
All right, I guess I will go ahead and jump in first. So I started with my geek journey very young, growing up in the 80s. I feel like we did everything geek. Oh, I just want to start over.
You okay? You okay? You okay? I know.
Influence beats. This is Captain Cosby.
Geek, that's my motivation. Learn, that's my motivation. Work, that's my motivation. Exercise, my motivation. Grind, that's my motivation. Pray, that's my motivation. Time, that's my motivation. This is my motivation.
Yo, everybody. This is your man, Darrell Miller.
And I'm Maria Lizz.
This is Show Me Your Geek, pilot episode 1. And we're going to be talking about our journey of being geeks and nerds.
And I'm actually going to let you start because I don't know where to.
Okay. So my journey was ever since a kid. It's hard to really explain. I used to, like, with action figures, like, create my own stories with that. I guess that's where my storytelling came from and all that. And used to, like, create my own worlds and stuff as a kid, you know, like playing with my friends after, like, elementary school and things like that, and my siblings. And sometimes, you know, if you come in from a chaotic home or things you look for things to escape. Instead of being in the streets, what was good for me was comic books. I used to draw comics in our little journal, black and white journal books in school they used to give us.
Yep.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I used
Always
to,
the doodling.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I used to create my own comics in that and things. So, like, anytime things would go on personally in my house, watching cartoons or, you know, drawing or playing with my action figures really helped me escape that and not do wrong or make bad choices in life, you know. And growing up, watching my siblings and cousins get locked up or have a lot of baby mamas or anything like that, I use, like, nerd culture to help me not be the same in that, especially as a black man, young black man. You get told you're supposed to be like this, you're supposed to be like that. And it's like, nah, that's not something I'm into. I'm more over here. Like, I'm cool, nice, respectable young man. You know what I mean? I just want to have fun, be positive, and around that energy and stuff. So being a nerd really saved me from that, because if I would have went that way, I could have been dead. I could have been locked up. I could have anything, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was important. And I loved it, you know, even though people didn't really understand me, but it saved my life. So I could always appreciate being a nerd, because life could have been so different.
I love that. I actually really love that story. I don't have quite such an amazing story. I really feel like my journey, honestly, I was a theater kid. And so I think that maybe was where it all started. Being able to just pretend my whole life.
Right.
Looking back now, like, being an 80s baby, I like all the things now, like, that's, I feel nerd now, like, people, like, take from, like, 70s, 80s, right? Like,
Right.
like all the cartoons and stuff. And so now I'm just like, well, I mean, it was cool back then. Like, yeah. But, I mean, video games, board games, card games, all that stuff I grew up with, and carried it just kind of throughout, and then it's always kind of stuck with me. And I play video games and board games and all that stuff now. And again, like I said, being a theater kid, so dressing up and playing a character at a convention is not abnormal to me.
Yeah.
And being able to do that multiple times throughout a year for a couple of days in a row is amazing. and not just having to wait for one day of a year like Halloween
Right.
to do it. So I absolutely love geek culture, nerd culture, whatever you want to call it, because it encapsulates so much. I know for a fact it gives people who don't have a place or don't feel like they have a place or they don't feel like they have a space, it gives them that.
Right.
It gives them a community. And I know that because I talk to them. I see that anytime I go to a convention.
Right.
And community is one thing I promote, and I try to, share with everyone that I can, because I feel like that is so important, because so many people feel like they don't have that, and they come to conventions to find their people, find their space. And I feel that's so important, because I feel that the geek culture gives that to so many people.
Do you think, like, what was it so hard back then being a nerd and a geek and stuff like that? You think, was you ever like bullied for being a geek or a nerd?
I wouldn't say I was bullied. Absolutely, though, were people bullied for it?
Yeah,
of course.
right.
Because they fit that stereotypical look of what a nerd or a geek was, right? Glasses, or like skinny, or they weren't aesthetically like the jock or whatever, right? Or because they did play board games or chess or whatever it was, instead of playing a sport or whatever was considered cool. People were absolutely bullied because maybe they weren't as socially adept, and they weren't out there partying or whatever, like so many other kids were, because they were staying at home playing video games or doing something else that was a little more introverted, and that was okay. But people always want to find something to pick on other people for. And so, I mean, we have bullying now. But instead of it being at school or on the playground, people are doing it online. And so I don't even know what's worse. Like, honestly, I don't know if it's worse online because you get it all day every day, or if it was worse in person on just the playground or at school. So but we still have it, and it happened then, it happens now. Which is why I think having a community, having a safe space, having a place to go where you know you're accepted and you know that you're cared about just because of who you are is so important. So important.
And for me growing up, I was what had to be a chameleon. Like I kind of had to know when to show my nerdom and who I couldn't show that to, because I felt like you wouldn't have been belong to, or like they would have make fun of you or whatever. Like, I never was picked on anything. Like I said, I just knew who to talk to about certain things. I knew like how to play my role, or just get through the day, or whether it's school or outside hanging with my cousins and all that. I knew what to do just to not have those type of problems and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's worse now with social media, because everybody is on social media and people attach reality to social media, even though it's not real. You know what I mean? Because it's not like those people you're going to bump into every day. A lot of times people feel like everybody had this freedom of speech, so they use it, or this entitlement, like I got to tell you what to do, how to dress, or who to be, and things like that. And for the nerds and geeks, it's like they feel so attacked for just expressing themselves and stuff like that, you know what I mean? And I just want them to know, it's like, you be strong, be who you are. Don't worry about them other people, because you're not most likely is going to see them. And so what? Like, you be you. If that makes you happy, if you like doing reviews on toys, or you like dressing up every day, if you like making card games, video games, if you like talking about anime and all that, do that. Like, that's what make you, if that's going to make you a great person and positive and peaceful at the end of the day, do that. Don't let nobody tear you down or say whatever that they don't know your life or what you've been through. A lot of us use it as escape, because the hell we go through back at home. A lot of stuff is from home, and it's something, I'm not too much big in anime, but I see why a lot of people are or love anime, you know what I mean, from the emotions and the depth. That's why I'm kind of getting from it. Like I said, I don't know too much, but overall, from just the action fight scenes, I see what anime different from cartoon in America. They tack more so for emotions and how a person think internally and things they probably got picked on or had to fight all their lives and finally get that strength and or feel so introverted. I see why a lot of people attach themselves to anime characters and stuff like that. I'm like, do that. You know what I mean? Whoever, we all got heroes in different ways, and not all of it streets and rappers and whatever, you know, entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Yeah. A lot of our heroes sometimes come from these imaginary people that either we create in our minds or what somebody else created. And I think you should do that wherever bring peace in your life and you know where your path is going to. You should keep doing that.
I 100% agree. I'm going to take a quick break. I just want to say what's up to Keith in Facebook and everyone on TikTok. Thanks for joining. Soapy, we will absolutely have a bloopers reel just because clearly I am a blooper. So thanks for the suggestion. We will absolutely do that. But yes, back to what you were saying, 100%. And I think people do find in this community, again, that space. So I think with conventions, especially because just with Indiana, we have so many. In Indianapolis, we have a nice handful between smaller conventions like Anime Crossroads. We have In Conjunction, which is a small sci-fi convention that's coming up in a couple weeks. Right. To large conventions. I mean, Gen Con, for example, is the largest gaming convention, tabletop gaming convention, to be specific, in the country, and the second largest gaming convention in the world. And so we literally, in Indianapolis alone, but in Indiana in general, have so many conventions from small local to obviously, you know, extremely large ones. Yeah. There's a space for everybody. Midwest, you know, expands over a few states, and there are just an uncountable amount of conventions that anyone could go to and find in the surrounding states from Indiana. And then when you talk about cross country, it's just crazy to think about how many conventions there are for everybody. And I think that's why people go to conventions. In addition to, of course, the amazing guests, whether it be actors, voice actors, and then finding the merch. You know, you go to the vendor hall and there's amazing artists that you can just get almost anything you want from there. And then, of course, the panels and just other artistry that you find there throughout the 1 to 3, 4, 5 days, depending how long the convention is. But people find their space, they find their people, and they, like you said, they find their peace in this community. And I think that's so important. And I just, you know, this talk show, I want people to be able to come here and find that peace as well. Yeah.
And meet people that just like us or a similar background or story that we all can relate to in some way, you know, when it comes to, cause I think people misconstrue like just nerds and geeks or think of us in one type of way when it's so much different stories, so much different background, the reason why we do things. Like when I go to conventions, it's dope, we get to meet different type of people that loves the stuff we love, you know what I mean? We can connect differently, even though come from different backgrounds or different way of life, you know what I mean? Whatever, spiritually, sexually, whatever, but we still can connect in the nerd and geek culture and stuff like that, and that we can still enjoy ourselves, right? And I think that's so important in our lives and others.
Yep, I agree.
What we got here?
I'm just wondering why did your camera turn off? Your live is ended.
Oh, my live's
on
ended?
your Facebook. Do you want? Yeah. Well, I guess it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, I agree. I think when we all realize that no matter where we come from, what walk of life, where we are, whether we're younger or older, which is me, in this community, there's still so much that we have similar. Yeah. So the differences may be there, but we're all here because we have something in common that we love, right?
Yes.
Whether it's a fandom, whether it's a genre, whether it is a certain type of media,
Right.
or a combination of all of them.
Yes.
But we're all here for that joy
Yeah.
and the love of something.
Right.
And that is what is so beautiful, is that regardless of whatever differences we have, right? It is the love of those things that bring us joy
Mm-hmm.
that is more like important and more brighter than the differences. And I think that's what's amazing about this community and the culture in general.
Exactly, because a bunch of us like introverts that's piling up in these conventions. And a lot of times it's so fascinating, like a bunch of introverts, and then we find a way to become not so introverted in these conventions. Was so beautiful of us, like, yo, you're just like me, I'm just like you in a way. Let's talk and communicate, which is so powerful and dope. Especially when we see like younger generations doing, like, what I love to see is like kids dressing up and kids like, oh, can I take a picture with you? Or they parents like do that. So that's what important what I try to do is like embrace that and be smiling and just show open arms, because I know it's an introvert, because sometimes I feel like being an introvert too. So me knowing that consciously is like, yo, I need to let me smile more so they won't feel nervous to ask me to take a picture or just to talk to me and stuff like that, because I understand, because I go through it as well. And us growing up in those type of mindsets of like nobody will understand me, nobody gets me, whether it's your significant other or anything like that. And have you ever had that situation, whether you was talking to somebody or dating somebody, like they really didn't understand you and your passion with being a geek or a nerd?
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
A lot of people, I think, don't, especially with cosplay, if they don't know what it is, or they just really aren't into the convention scene, they might watch anime, they might play video games or I need to stop hitting that, tabletop games or whatever. But if they're not really into the convention scene, they don't really know what it is. So when I mention it, like, oh, I'm working on a prop or I'm putting this together or something, and they'll be like, well, what do you mean cosplay? What is that? And so I have to explain, like, well, when you see people running around, when they take over the whole downtown area and they're running around dressed up as characters and they have all these interesting costumes on and really interesting wigs and they look like characters you may even recognize. That's cosplay. And it's like trying to explain it to somebody. And I have to explain it in a different way than obviously someone who's in the scene, right? So it's like I have to break it down differently. But most people understand once I kind of explain it, but there are some people who are just like, I don't get it. Why would you spend your money on that? Why would you waste your time? And it's like, because I can. I don't have to make it make sense to you if it makes sense to me. If it brings me joy, and if I am able to spend the time that I do get with the people that I want to be around during those times, or even sometimes even outside of conventions, that's all that matters to me. And I don't have to, make it make sense to people who don't matter in that sense. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not going to. So I will explain it, and I will try again to, give that joy to new people as well. But I don't have to make them understand.
What was your best feeling so far in your career being a geek and a nerd? Or is it like a specific moment it made you feel like, I'm glad I chose this path than other things?
Honestly, anytime I get to just interact with people in general, and I know that they enjoyed either my cosplay or just a conversation, sometimes people just want to be acknowledged. So knowing that my joy also maybe helped bring them joy. But I would say in general, I think helping to share a community with other people who didn't necessarily feel that they had one has literally been, I think, my biggest joy. And helping people find their space, I think has made me know what I'm meant to do.
Right.
And I feel that that's one of my bigger accomplishments, and definitely is one of the best ways that I've been able to share that joy with other people. Yeah. And I think that's it. Just, sharing that community, sharing that joy.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you?
I think at least the first moment it sparked me like this is the best decision for me is when my best friend, her parents own like a youth center, and they brought me in as a guest there, and I recorded this on YouTube. And the kids like would just sit down, listen to me talk. We would dance and listen to music, and I had posters of my comic. I had a character, and I gave them all a poster, and there's a video I had clipped. They all wanted me to sign it, and they was like, sign it, sign it. So they all like saying it like I'm some superstar. So I'm like, I'm nobody, but I was like, it was just that special moment. It's like, yo, this is what the youth need. You know what I mean? They don't need another thug. They don't need another game banger or just another whatever. You know what I mean? We got too many like heroes in sports. We got too many heroes as rappers or musicians, and no shade to them, you know what I mean? But I think it's other routes kids can go to, you know, especially for young African Americans or other cultural kids. And I was like, I want to be one of those people if they need somebody to look up to from Indiana or just around the world. Like, look at me. I don't look like an ordinary nerd, but I still am, you know what I mean? I still believe in area. I still have fun. I still dress up like everybody. I might not look the part, whatever, but I was never, I guess, felt like I involved even my family. I never felt like I fitted in.
Yeah.
Rather, I didn't feel like I fitted in sometimes as a nerd. I didn't feel like I fitted in sometimes with my family. Like, I just felt like an oddball. But I love being who I was, and that would really help me. But that day, I said I knew those are the future, and that's what I had to pay attention to. So everything I do, I had to make sure that I bring a smile to the youth face, and things I do, I can help other people, you know, wherever that is. Even adults, you know, sometimes even adults need still somebody to help them be inspired, right? So I try to help them out as I wish somebody had done that for me, you know what I mean? Yep. And my mentor done that for me, named Romeo Gearson, to help me create my business. He don't want to believe that I can be somebody other than just a rapper or whatever. Whatever he said, I'm going to teach you how to own a business. I'm going to teach you how to own an LLC. I'm going to teach you things you didn't even believe in yourself. And that was so inspiring to me because I didn't even know I could until I took those steps, you know, and someone to believe in you. And that's the same thing I want to do for anybody that comes around me or want to ask me questions, or just when you be around me, you feel like, oh, he's about what he talks about. He's going to help out. He's going to do whatever. Like, it feel like I do too much, but sometimes I feel like I don't do enough.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that just something I enjoy.
No, and I love that you mentioned opening the avenues. Like, you know, there are a lot of athletes. Like, being an athlete, like, everyone knows. Like, everyone wants to be the famous athlete, famous actor, famous, you know, those already big famous names that are out there.
Right.
But it's okay to let people know, like, it's okay, like, to let your creative outlet also be the way that you, like, get it out, like, whatever it is. Like, you don't have to be in athletics or you know, which I feel like that's always where we put our kids, right? I'm guilty of that too. But if that's not what your kid does or what you do as an adult even, but if you find, like, art is where you get that outlet, or sewing, or crafting, that's good, that's okay, and this is a way to do that, right? In this community, all of that creativeness is a wonderful outlet, and you can find some way, shape, or form in order to put that into this community, in so many different ways. And I just like that you brought that up, right? Because you were like, we have a lot of athletes and all these other things, but here is another way that your kids can still get that outlet, whether it's gaming or, you know, something else. And I'm glad that you brought that up. And even as adults, like I said, we don't have to stop with our creativeness.
Because there's so many careers in our nerd culture people don't
Mhm.
even think about. Heck, it's kids with millions of views just by opening up toys.
Yeah.
People are making money just by, think about that. People are making money
Yeah.
just by reviewing toys.
Yep.
So imagine you just feeling like it's so much pathway. If people just, like I said, learning who you are, learning what you want to do, what really bring joy in your life. You don't have to be a millionaire, like, to do what you want to do in life.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You want to make sure you live above your means. Make sure you take care of your bills, but don't put yourself in debt unless it's smart debt.
Mhm.
And there's some things I always learned as an entrepreneur: it's smart debt and it's bad debt. Buying Jordans and all that, bad debt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You don't really need that right now. But good debt will be, maybe a house, maybe investing in something, a company. You know what I mean? If you're a nerd, you like card games, create you a card game. Or if you like comics, create you your own superhero. Or, dive into things, learn about it first. Get you a mentor. I always tell people, be around people that's more successful than you. That's how you grow. If you around anybody that's, one, that's not doing what you're doing in life, two, they lazy, three, they just not getting it, then those are the people you kind of want to spend less time with in your life, whether it's family, friends you grew up with, whatever. Things change. Life goes on sometimes. You don't sometimes even see your best friends or family like that, like you used to, if you're focused, right? And it's not nothing wrong with that, but you just got to have a goal in mind and make sure the people around you is help building that goal, just like you help them.
Yep.
Like, you got to, it's not just you taking, but you got to, give. So it's always important to be around people that's smarter than you. I always say, you never want to be the smartest in the room. You want to be the dumbest. That's always learned from entrepreneurs, because it's always gaining knowledge. Always to do better. Think new strategy. Think new ways how to get to your goal. It's always, and things goes wrong. That's just part of life. Even though you're a good person, whatever, things happens, right? You just woosah, calm down and stuff like that. But just know it's more ways to get to where you want to be, and just meeting people, networking, finding new crafts to get into, or just be around people that's doing what you want to do in life, and that's how most likely you can be at least happy enough to be successful. Like I said, you don't need to be a millionaire to feel happy. You just want to be in a place, a space where it's like, I would do 8 to 12 to 16 hours doing this, that, you know what? I'm at my 9 to 5. I don't want to be here 1 minute. I don't care if I get fired. I don't care if they, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
work your way so you don't have to worry about that clocking in, clocking out, or be in a space like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I don't care. If you want to be a filmmaker, maybe work your first job, work at a theater. You know what I'm saying? So you get the aspects on how to sell tickets and where people go to see movies. You know what I mean? Things like that, and build your way up.
Yep. Nope. That all makes sense. Everyone, that's one of Darrell's panels when we're at
Yes.
one of the conventions.
Yeah, definitely check that out.
But you're right. Like, a lot of we'll just kind of segue right into a different topic. But when we go to conventions, right, a lot of conventions have fan panels.
Yes.
Which you and I both do very differently. You do a lot of panels that share information, right? Networking, just like you were saying. A lot of my panels are very chaotic but different, but that's fine, right? Because if a convention only had one type of panel, or there's no variety, it just kind of gets very stagnant. But as you were saying, that's kind of the type of panel you do is sharing information, right? Giving the audience helpful tips based on whatever the specific topic is, which is awesome. Always fun though, because you get, like you said, network.
Yes.
You're engaging with the audience though, so it's not really just you talking to them. You're usually asking them information and going back and forth, which is always great. A lot of the panels I do are more games or something that's very engaging with the audience, a little more chaotic as far as not really information.
But it's needed though, because sometimes we like I said, some people go there to escape, right? Panel.
Absolutely.
Sometimes we go to places. That's why I love being a nerd, because I can escape bull stuff. Like, think about the world. People are getting murdered for dumb stuff. You just got a lot of bad things going on, not just in Indiana, the world. Social media is toxic and all that. So you want to have a space. That's why I love conventions and stuff. You get to just tap out of that for a while.
Absolutely.
You get to just dress up whoever you want. You get to just freely free your mind just for this moment, even for a day, couple of hours, whatever. I just get to enjoy something. Why would I want to be depressed all the time? Why I want to just be around this foolishness and people talk about guns, drugs, and people arguing about dumb things they don't own, like color or neighborhoods that they ain't even getting money and stuff. It's a lot of dumb things we die for that we promote and we talk about, but the things we do as nerds, that's the only thing I have a problem with. The positive people in the fandom we do, people talk down on and not show us respect, but we the ones trying to help save the community. We the ones out here trying to bring smiles on your children's faces instead of them coming home in abuse or drugs and all that type of stuff. We are the ones that's really putting the work to make sure people at least can have a positive mindset for majority. Now, is it toxic in the nerd community? Absolutely.
Every community is going to
Every community has that.
Yeah.
But for the most part, we come in there just to enjoy and have a good time and share experience with each other and just, like I said, live in the fantasy world for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm glad you brought up, like, toxicity in the community. I think overall, our community, regardless what part of the community it is, right, is very positive, very welcoming, very accepting, very loving.
Yes.
And there's always going to be bad apples, and regardless where you go.
Right.
I think if as a community we see that the bullying, the toxicity, the negativity, we all come together to knock that out, it might be less. I think it's easy, especially on social media. People see someone tearing someone down because of what they look like.
Right.
Maybe they're, they see a cosplay and they're like, oh, it doesn't look perfect, like picture perfect. It's not canon.
Right.
It's not whatever.
Yeah.
And it's so easy, right? Because you're behind a keyboard to just say something.
Yeah.
And people just feel, I don't know, that courage, that entitlement, that courage, whatever you want to call it. But kindness is free.
Yeah.
It takes nothing to just say something nice or to simply scroll by.
Yeah.
And I find it more empowering for me if I do see somebody saying something negative to someone else to come up behind it and be like, no, like, we're not saying that. Why are you saying that? Like, to either say something extremely positive to the person that's being bullied and or knock that person who's doing the bullying down. Yeah. I think as a community that we need to do that. We need to be more positive. We need to be encouraging and empowering to the people who are being bullied or just getting that negative, unnecessary feedback that's always unnecessary. Unless you're the one doing it.
Right.
And then letting the people know that who's saying it and doing it to stop, that it's not going to be tolerated.
Right.
And I think if we do that as a community, if our voices are louder, if our positive voices are louder than the negative, then we can start to drown that out.
Yeah. Because the things I do have issues with in our community is that, like, a lot of these people we grew up watching superheroes. Like me, Power Rangers, Captain Planet, all these superheroes that made me be like being a good person, being a hero, standing up for people, or doing what's right? And you got these even adults that you thought supposed to learn that. That's why you love superheroes. That's why you love your certain characters. But you never picked on those personality traits. You don't pick up on what they stand for. Like, I'm in the Power Ranger community, work with Power Rangers, and it's crazy to me that you will have fans that's in that community had this thing, it's mine. But you don't get from watching those episodes what they stood for. Like, those heroes, they told you to do positive things. They told you do it right, don't bully and all that. So how can you be such a fan of this and all that, but you turn around want to bully people you don't know? You turn around and want to talk crap about them. You want to say how they look, how they dress.
Yep.
They can't design like you, or all you use an AI, or you using blah, 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 whatever. How about you lift them up? How about you ask, you know what I'm saying, what can I do to help you out or make you feel better? Or what can I do? Like, yo, you doing something I probably can't do, or something like that, or teach me, or I can help you out with this.
Mm-hmm.
We don't give those. Like, all these people want to feel like, I just got to attack this person because I don't think like you, that I have to say something negative.
Exactly.
I even tell my bro Jeff, like, who does his thing, it's like, I can't do some of that stuff because if it's something I don't like, I just go buy it. Like, it's just easy, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get into that debates and all that type of stuff. It's no point. I have my opinion, you have your opinions,
Right.
respectfully or whatever like that. Or if it's just something that somebody is promoting something, I just go past that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I don't need to engage in it.
I agree. I think it's easy for people to, you know, want to say the things that they need to be said, but it's not always necessary. And I think that's important to remember. We can agree to disagree and move on, and that's
Right.
okay, and keep it positive and keep it friendly, and that's all right. But I think we covered a lot today.
Yeah, that was good though. Like,
we covered a lot today.
Yeah.
We barely scratched the surface.
Yes.
I know that obviously with this show, it's not just always going to be you and me talking.
No.
We have so many great plans to dive into this culture, everything that's under this umbrella, and obviously the stuff that you and I aren't professionals at, which is probably going to be a lot more than not.
Right.
We're going to bring in people who can
Yes.
really, really, really dive into that with us and hopefully teach you guys all like things that we need to know, right?
Exactly.
So I hope you guys continue to tune in and chat more and bring your questions for us moving forward.
All right. This your man, Darrell Miller.
And this is Maria Lizz.
Hey, show me your geek.